On this July 27th, 63 years ago, at 10 p.m. to be exact, an armistice agreement was signed ending a brutal 3-year conflict on the Korean peninsula until a final peace treaty could be found. Well, more than 6 decades later, no peace deal has been inked, making the Korean Armistice the longest armistice ever in modern history. 63 years after the ceasefire, those who remain on the DMZ to keep the ceasefire in place. The final of our 3-part special feature.
An hour-and-a-half drive from Seoul, past one checkpoint after another, we're heading north towards the world's most heavily fortified border. Already accompanied by the South Korean Army, U.S. and UN command, we need the escort of one more to get to our final destination.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Jen Moon.
Hello.
Hi, from Arirang TV. Colonel Stach.
Understood.
The Swedes. We change vehicles and drive up north, beyond the southern boundary of the DMZ, past the Joint Security Area. Another 10 minutes or so, we're at the NNSC, or Neutral Nations Supervisory Commission encampment on the Korean border. Surprisingly peaceful. The air is fresh and you can hear the birds chirping. Here, deep inside the DMZ, nestled within 2 meters of North Korea, live 10 discreet European officers, as they have been for the last 63 years. Their living quarters and working barracks are only a few meters from the military demarcation line dividing the two Koreas.
Really at that point where you see the marker, North Korea proper starts. So here there is no JSA. JSA ends basically at the Blue Bridge. So here it's behind the marker, so here you're away now, standing here 10 meters, standing up 5 meters from North Korea.
With just a single wired fence that curves around standing between the camp and North Korea, the NNSC has been here at the heart of the Korean division, in the eye of the storm, for more than 6 decades.
Within the NNSC camp, there are sort of 2 distinct camps of delegations. So here we are in the Swedish delegation camp on this hill, and then a little bit closer to North Korea is the Swiss camp.
The Swiss and Swedes arrived here with tents in July 1953 as members of the Neutral Nations Supervisory Commission. Their task, to uphold a fragile armistice in place of a peace treaty. Originally a 4-nation commission including representatives on the North Korean side from Poland and the former Czechoslovakia, only the Swedes and the Swiss remain on a daily basis in these 1950s-era huts just meters from North Korea. Their daily presence shows that the ceasefire agreement, the only legal instrument for the avoidance of hostilities on the Korean peninsula, is still valid even though no peace treaty has been signed.
We are not the most important pillar of it, but we are one of it. Through our observations, through that we supervise what the activities are here, I think that's our contribution to this validity of the armistice agreement.
Despite the seeming calm at the encampment, there is an obvious, palpable tension in the air, here, within a spitting distance from North Korea. General Gerber takes us to an emergency bunker at the camp. Down here, there are only basic things like light and medical kit. The officers come here fully equipped with their helmets and protective body armor so that they can move out to a non-permissive environment. But this last line of defense has rarely been used over the past few decades.
We go here only if there is an imminent threat or a real would be an attack on this area here. As long as we serve here, we send signals that the armistice agreement is still in force. If we run away here too early and say, well, we feel a little bit scared, let's leave, that gives the wrong signal to all parties.
We head over to the Swiss camp, a bit further up north, closer to North Korea. The red buildings at the NNSC camp are all numbered.
They're all numbered with a T.
Yeah. They're all numbered with a T, T standing for temporary. Here is working space, over there is sleeping quarter. That's the reason why I have it.
These huts, built by U.S. Army engineers back in 1953 as non-permanent temporary barracks, bear the history of the NNSC on the Korean Peninsula. Before 1995, when North Korea stopped recognizing the armistice, NNSC officers traveled freely to their counterparts in North Korea.
Indicates that it's been produced in North Korea. Yeah.
This is the bell, and yeah, you can explain.
Oh yeah, this is the bell, and the bell is standing on a hill, and here we have the national flag.
When delegates leave and new delegates come, the Swedish members perform a small national ceremony, ringing in the new and ringing out the old, with a number of strikes they have served here in months.
And here you have a list since 1953 and all the way down here towards Major General Engman, which is in the bottom. He's the one that is in charge at the moment.
So quite a history that we're seeing or witnessing here.
Yeah, yeah.
Up to 1,000 Swedish officers have served here on the Korean border over the last 63 years. The Korean Armistice, the longest surviving armistice, made possible because of all these parties working to maintain the ceasefire. How would you like to see the role of your two nations here on the Korean Peninsula change over the years?
An ideal position would be that I would leave my post, go home and say, mission accomplished. There is no need for a neutral nation supervisory commission anymore, because that would indicate, hopefully, that there has been a peaceful settlement has been found, that the armistice agreement is not anymore necessary.
Now we're on our way to this formal weekly meeting.
Yeah.
So we always cross this blue bridge. But I have to ask you to stay here because there is only the delegates within the commissions that use this blue bridge. So please.
Okay. Let's go.
Not impossible, not unrealistic. But for now, the European monitors remain marooned in this narrow splinter of no man's land, on duty, 63 years overdue.